So, okay, well then I'll start to bring us back home, and we can wind down with sort of a follow-up. You mentioned, you talked about, flying private is really cool. All this stuff is really cool. You're getting to do what you like. I without using the term happy, but I will use the term happy. Maybe joy is a better word. What is bringing you joy? What is working? Because like you said, you've solved your money problems, and these are the problems that you're solving now. Are these interviews and these kinds of making videos for acquisition and those challenges? Do you find that joyous? Have you found a way to solve your, I don't know, joy problem that all humans face now that you're really probably more heavily focused on that?
So I've been looking into this a lot, and this is probably I'd say probably 25 to 30% of my time is focused on kind of these types of questions. And so what's really interesting is that I think Aristotelian, so Aristotle like kind of made this point, and it actually gave me a lot of solace in thinking about it. But it was that you cannot see whether a man's life was well lived until after he is dead. And I thought that was, for me, it actually gave me a lot of comfort, because it was like, so then it decreases the pressure that I have in terms of how to always try and create meaning, because meaning is actually created posthumously. So rather than think as I'm doing something, is this thing meaningful? Instead, I could finish my week and then look back and say, I will ascribe this meaning to these activities. Mm-hmm. And that has actually been very helpful for me. In terms of the meaning of life, I'm borrowing this from a friend of mine who quoted Albert Camus, who's a Moroccan, I believe, a Moroccan philosopher. And he said, the meaning of life is the reason you don't kill yourself. And it's super morbid, but it's also kind of true, right? Like whatever the reason we get, if you think about why would I not do that? It's like, well, whatever the actual first or second answer that you have is your meaning. And I thought that was actually really, really powerful. So for me, that was also very, very useful. And then the third.
What did you come up with for that?
The game.
Oh, the game. Just the game is in and of itself is.
I love the game.
Pleasurable, a joy.
I love the game, and my wife. Layla, I would love to do that. Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah.
She's part of the game. She's got a YouTube channel as well.
No, Layla's awesome. Like Layla, and I mean, I'm gonna selfishly take the next 60 seconds for everybody who's deciding on like who their life partner is going to be, and I call it that way rather than like spouse or wife or husband, because I think it is really life partner. I'm such a proponent of loving logically. And I know that's a oxymoron, as most people understand it. But I think that arranged marriages make a lot of sense. Like, because parents look like you probably know your friends and see some of the people they're dating. Like, what are they thinking? Right? Like what an idiot.
All the time.
All the time. And the thing is that sometimes you're that friend. Right?
All the
time. Right? And so I think that like, the second biggest risk I've taken in my life, besides quitting the job that I did, was when Layla and I got married. I was petrified because I was like, I can't believe I'm adult enough to actually do this and make this decision. This is insane.
How are they letting me do this?
Really? No, really. And I was like, I can't believe that I can actually just choose to marry someone. This sounds insane, right? Yeah. But the reason I was able to move forward with it, and I wasn't able to move forward in the past, is that logically, my logic brain kept stepping in whenever I had these relationships that I was like really passionate in love and all this stuff and this chemistry, right? And I was just like, but this doesn't make sense. They don't like the stuff I like. You know what I mean? I would just think, I was like, but they don't like, it would always be like, okay, done talking about business. Now let's talk about what I like to talk about. And I was just like, I don't want to stop talking about what I want to stop talking about. I don't want to compromise. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like for me, what with Layla is I kind of have a life without compromise. Like, I was like, this is exactly how I want to live. Do you want to do that? And I remember when I was dating, people were like, that's so selfish and one-sided, and you're never going to find anybody who likes that. And I was like, well, I only need to find one. And that's what I think people miss.
I felt that in the past.
It's like, well, what's the likelihood that you find? I'm like, I only need one. N equals 1 is all I have to find. So it's okay that it's an outlier. I expect it to be an outlier. It should be an outlier. But it doesn't mean I can't find it. It just means it'll take me longer. And so I would just say this for everyone, like the single most important decision I think that we make in terms of subjective well-being, and that's supported with data, is that you have a 0.71 correlation to your own subjective well-being based on the strength of your relationship with your significant other. And so for me, I've taken they're in the business with me approach. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm saying that is what worked for me because I could have this shared experience and we're aligned in where we're trying to go and we both are exposed to the same stimuli. So we grow together in that direction. And that has been very valuable to me.
Interesting. No, we've talked about compromise as regards relationships in the past, and it's a sticky question. A lot of people tell you that compromise is the bedrock of relationships. And that has always, for me, gone, it's not been the bedrock of my friendships.
Yeah.
It has not been it has been not at all really in my friendships. Almost never in my friendships is there a compromise. It's just shared desire to do and not do the same types of things. So why would that be completely different in a relationship? And then, there's a bunch of reasons that are offered that tend not to make a ton of sense. So that's something that I have not gotten to the bottom of, but we've discussed in the past here, and I've felt similarly that compromise sounds like a dirty word to me. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.